Have you ever wondered how real estate investors like me are buying inexpensive properties and turning them into high cash flow rentals? Imagine this $56,000 property that's all in, rehab included. 2 months later, it appraises for $122,000. Meanwhile, it's getting rents of $1,600 per month. Now, this might sound like a unicorn deal, especially if you're not familiar with my market, but we see these all the time. This could certainly be a reality for you. As a matter of fact, this should certainly be a reality for you. Hi, I'm Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed, a real estate investor and coach with a proven track record of taking small investment opportunities and transforming them into substantially high cash flowing rental properties. With strategic partnerships, I facilitated millions in real estate transactions, working from new to savvy investors, all the way from 9 to 5ers like dentists, attorneys, nurses, all the way to hedge funds, family offices, and government partnerships. I mean, let's face it, we all know what the biggest challenges are. The biggest roadblocks to investing are cash flow issues and time constraints. And I hate to mention this, but it's also the fear of the unknown. And for high earners, this could feel like an ongoing pursuit of looking for substantial returns, but it feels like you're navigating a maze of taxes and figuring out how you're going to get it all done while you're still working your 9 to 5. The traditional approach can seem inefficient and overwhelming, and let me tell you, it is. But what if these challenges could be opportunities for significant financial growth? What if, with the right strategy, you can maximize your returns and minimize your headaches? Our team and our community offer the support and the resources and knowledge that you need in order to turn these stumbling blocks like cash flow and figuring out the time to do it into stepping stones to helping you build your own portfolio so that you can have the financial freedom that you deserve. Let's take a look at a quick case study for one of my coaching clients, just like you, and let's see how they were able to turn $56,000 into $122,000 in 2 months. Let's keep this simple and quick. Long story short, we bought a property. As you can see here, this is a picture of the appraisal and the property, which is really nice. When I tell people how inexpensive these properties are, they always think it's some dilapidated, falling apart house, and it's not. It's just that we're in a market where you can get really nice houses inexpensively. If you don't believe me, take a look here. We have our settlement date. This was in September 2024. You can see here in line 101, we purchased this property for $30,000. We also had to take care of the wholesaler who found us this amazing deal. And we also had to pay for closing costs. So all in, we were in at $42,451.17. And you can see they already had a renter in there paying $600 per month, but we like high cash flow. So of course that's not enough for us. Here you can see the invoice for the repairs that needed to take place in order for this house to be rent ready. And as you can see, this was just 4 days later after we closed on this property. We were quoted $14,000, which takes our sum total up to $56,000. That's all in, including purchase price, closing costs, rehab, and paying for the wholesaler fees for bringing us this incredible, amazing deal. And then as you can see here, 2 months later, literally 2 months later after we purchased this property, we had the appraisal done and it came back at $122,000. I wonder what you would do in this situation. Would you just take your $66,000 in equity and run, sell the house and just take your $66,000, or would you stay in? I'm interested to hear what you would do, and I'll tell you what my client ended up doing. This was a first-time investor, by the way, who was just in my coaching program, and we got it done. So this is a fair market rent schedule from Section 8 because we love partnering with the government. And as you can see, for this property, they were paying $14.20 per month. So you heard me earlier say there was already a renter in there paying $600 month to month. I mean, we're getting over double that just by getting a Section 8 tenant in there. And that's exactly what we intended to do until my tenant placement agent, who's a part of our team, who will also be a part of your team now when we work together, found another voucher program that came in at $1,600 per month. And it was only a family of 3, which means less wear and tear on my property. So of course we went with this voucher program anyway. I mean, it was a better deal than Section 8 and much better than what the cash renter was paying. And then of course we had to take account of our insurance. So you can see here we had it insured, right, during the rehab time, $1,160 per year. So it's about $100 per month. And then if you look at our taxes, the taxes were $418 semi-annually. So that means about $850 per year. So that's $70 per month. Because I know there's some people out there like, well, what about the expenses? Listen, we picked this market for a reason because we can buy the properties inexpensively. The insurance is inexpensive. The taxes is inexpensive. And that's how we're able to get high cash flow. Our expenses are very low. As you can see, our expenses are about $170 per month. So if you're doing the math here, we're making $1,600 a month from our voucher receiving tenant. And then we have $170 per month in our expenses, which takes us down to about $1,430 per month in pure cash flow from $56,000. And here's the kicker about the $56,000. My coaching client didn't even have to pay that. This deal was so good that a private money lender in our network wanted in on it. And so they loaned them the money. Private, no banks, no credit, no down payment, none of that crazy stuff. Any good private money lender, especially the ones in our network, can see a good deal. Did my coaching client have to find this deal? No, it came from another wholesaler who's already in our community, sending these types of deals to our clients left and right. So if you're looking at the numbers here, the purchase price was $56,000. That's all in, closing costs, rehab, all of that. And then my private money lender wanted to lend it to them for a year at 12% interest, which means my client is going to have to repay them $62,720 after a year. Now, mind you, my client is now in with zero of their own dollars in this property. There's a couple of ways that they could have done this. When you watch the full webinar, which there's a link in the description, and I strongly recommend that you watch the full webinar so I can really dive deep into this and you can really understand our strategy. But just for the purpose of this very quick video for you, as you can see, they opted to do a cash out refi. So big words, right? Don't worry, we break it all down. So long story short, the house appraised for $122,000, as you saw. And then the client took out 70%. They did a 70% cash out, which means they took out 70% of the equity in the house, which gave them $85,400 in cash. Okay. But remember, they still have to pay back that investor. So yes, they got a check for $85,000, but they still had to pay off that investor, that private money lender, the $62,720 that they owed since they had no money in the deal, and it was completely covered by the private money lender. So this left my client with $22,680 cash in hand after they refinanced. Very simple. So once you learn how to do this, and like this client, you do it once, you just rinse and repeat. And then when you have a good relationship with the private money lender in our network and you do right the first time, I mean, they're going to be asking to fund anything that you have. So let's look at the profit really quickly, and then I'll get back to our little video. We're just letting you know what we do because I don't want to go into detail here, only because it breaks it down in the case study if you were to click the link. Okay, so let's look at the cash out. So the profit from the cash out, remember they had to pay that investor back. So they were left with $22,680. Now remember, they borrowed the money for 12 months, but 2 of those months was getting the property rehabbed and getting a new tenant in there because we did not pull from our Section 8 pool of tenants, right? We got an even better offer and we went with that tenant program. So that took about 8 weeks in total. But so just from cash flow, from the 10 months that they were able to cash flow it, they also made an additional $14,000 just from the cash flow from the rents. So all in all, the profit that they made from the cash out and the profit that they made from the cash flow together was $36,980. It's sad to say, but that's more than the salary of some people. And again, my client paid $0. It was fully covered by a private money loan. Obviously, they didn't have to find the deal. My network found the deal for them. And of course, walking them through every step was me and my team, my general contractor who does all of our rehabs, and my tenant placement agent who makes sure that you are always getting the highest and best rents in your market. You can see how others have achieved success with our methods. Just click the link in the description to explore testimonials and reviews. They'll show you success stories of investors who've unlocked high cash flow returns, just like this client, just like you will. So are you ready to learn the step-by-step strategic decisions behind this successful investment? Watch the full case study to discover the full story from the exact renovation costs to the choice of voucher program that paid way more than Section 8. And I want you, just for a moment, to picture yourself standing at the threshold of a transformational investment decision. If this was an investment that I coached you through, what would you do after the $122,000 appraisal? And there's no right or wrong answer, right? It's just based on what's going on in your life right now. Would you just sell it and keep the $66,000 in equity? Or would you cash out after seeing the appraisal after only 2 months? Or would you just keep the equity in there and enjoy the cash flow? So I want you to think about, and I'm going to give you the answers when you look at the quick video, strategy video in the description. But how much were the repair costs? Why did we choose this house? How did this new investor get a private money lender on their first deal? And did they keep it as a rental? Did they actually refinance? Or did they sell, take the money, and run? I'll answer these questions in detail. Find out more in our exclusive strategy video, your ticket to observe our investment strategy through high cash flow rentals. Okay, so you just learned a ton about me, my investment strategy, and what me and my team do. I'm interested in learning about you. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish, and how can I help you get there? Definitely check out the longer webinar so you can see me break down this case study. But if this sounds like something that you want to do, definitely book a call with me after you watch that case study and give me an opportunity to learn more about you. Until then, take care of yourself and each other.